afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our January Wellness Kitchen. Today we have a very special guest, Maureen Jacobson, and Maureen is a clinical dietitian over at ACMC, and she's going to be doing some fabulous recipes today. We have a whole wheat chicken wrap with blueberries, and then we have a Mediterranean salad. So I'm going to start with just Maureen, do you want to introduce yourself, maybe talk a little bit about what you do over at the hospital?
Oh, sure, yes. As June said, my name is Maureen Jacobson, and I've been a dietitian, for about 30 years now. I'm dating myself here. And I've been over at ACMC for 15 years, and I do inpatients there as well as all of the outpatients. And we see outpatients through referrals from physicians, and we do basically any type of diagnosis, and we also see any age range of patients over there too. So it's an all-inclusive service.
Great. Okay, well, I think we're going to get started on the chicken.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to start on these chicken wraps. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to slice up the chicken breast. We want to put it in cubes. So we need about 2 cups of chicken. So we're going to just slice this up here.
And I notice you're using 2 different cutting boards and 2 different knives.
Yes, yeah. You want to do that anytime you're cutting raw meat because there could be a risk of cross-contamination.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is if I were to touch this raw meat onto the vegetables or have the same type of cutting boards, I can actually make myself or whoever's eating the cooking seriously ill with foodborne illness, especially salmonella with the chicken that we're using. So you always want to make sure that you keep everything separate. And then after I do slice this chicken, I'll be washing my hands with soap and water and putting the cutting board over there for cleaning and sanitizing. So good point, Jean. Thank you.
And then I mentioned the blueberries, because when I saw the recipe, I was a little hesitant. I'm like, I don't know, blueberries and chicken, but
a lot of people
tell me the reason that we should be eating blueberries.
Yes, blueberries are actually a great superfood. And not to mention the fact that they're delicious. I actually have some blueberry bushes in my yard at home. So what they have in them is called anthocyanins, and it's a flavonoid compound, which simply means that it's a very powerful antioxidant, and it reduces inflammation. So a lot of the research is showing now that blueberries can actually reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's, reduce the risk of age-related dementia, reduce cardiovascular disease, because these compounds are so powerful. So, and a lot of the research is showing at least 1 cup of blueberries a day, although you can eat more because they're so tasty, which we'll find out today.
Yeah, I just had some in my protein shake today.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm going to try to do that for breakfast now.
Great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, shakes are a great way to get, the fruits and the vegetables in, especially for those of us who are busy and,
right.
We don't have time to get things in.
I'm just interested to taste the chicken with the blueberry, like how that flavor is.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Okay, well, we're going to find out.
I've made this recipe so many times, and you at first when I saw it, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to like the flavors marinating and everything together, but I think the balsamic vinaigrette in the recipe itself kind of helps it helps the flavor profile of it actually. Yeah. So I'm still trying to get them to use this at the hospital for the patients yet, or maybe we'll use it in retail. We'll have to see.
Okay.
So
I'm working in the cafeteria soon.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so do you work with the cafeteria at all in doing any of their food choices?
We've been consulted, on when they want to do specialty events or if they want to do health promotions in the cafeteria. For National Nutrition Month, we'll usually do some great recipes during that time and have some great handouts and information available. We do some contests sometimes too. It just depends on what the chefs want to do in the kitchen. Our food service is run by Airmark, so they have a lot of items already pre-made, but still we get to weigh in sometimes too,
Right.
which is fun.
That's good.
All right. So chicken is already chopped. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wash my hands because I want to put some olive oil in here.
So how much olive oil should you put in the pan?
Only
Just kind of.
I want to put just about a teaspoon or two just to kind of coat the pan because we want to keep this as a low fat dish. Even though olive oil is very healthy for you, we still want to do it
as healthy as possible, right?
Exactly.
And we did pre-cook some chicken, so we'll make sure that this is fully cooked before we eat it after the show.
Definitely, yes. Okay, so we're just going to drizzle about, let's do 2 teaspoons. Okay. And just in case you're wondering, since I've been a dietitian for so many years, yes, I did not measure that, but it's pretty close.
You can pretty much eyeball it, probably.
At that
by
point,
this
yes.
time.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to heat this up a little more.
Yeah.
And then we're going to let that oil kind of run a little more. Actually, we might need to do just a smidge more. Pan's a little big. There, about 2 teaspoons. Okay. So
if you want to put that in, and I'll take this away so it doesn't
perfect.
contaminate the lens.
Exactly. Let's do that. Okay.
And then about how long should you cook the chicken?
You want to cook the chicken at least, I'm going to say probably about 10 to 15 minutes or so. Oh, thank you so much for that for you. And you want to keep kind of turning it and adjusting it just because you don't want to burn it, number one, but you want to make sure that there's no pink and that, it's white all the way through. Okay, so now we're going to move over to the salad ingredients. Oh, thank you. Okay, so for this, what we want to do is we're going to peel the cucumber. Do you have a little peeler?
That would have been something to do before the salad. Nice.
And we're going to also,
No. Well, you know what? We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way.
okay, that's all right.
Here, you know what? Do you want? Why don't I work on the cucumber?
Yeah, if you would like. Okay. And just go ahead and get a nice peel on there. Thank you. And then I'll work on getting this head of lettuce chopped here. Now you can use any lettuce that you want. The recipe calls for green leaf, red leaf, or romaine, but I love a nice good head of sweet butter lettuce. It's really good, especially if you're growing it yourself. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So you definitely want to make sure that you're cutting it in, I guess I would say, pieces that are small enough that you don't feel like you're,
having to cut it off.
Yeah, you don't want to have giant pieces in there.
I know I'm wasting a lot of the skins.
Oh, yes.
If I was at home, I would be using a peeler, but
oh, that's okay.
we got to put that on the list. Every time we do a Wellness Kitchen episode, we think of another thing that we need. So we will add that to our list.
Yeah, that's okay. It's hard when you have a bunch of different recipes.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, we never know.
You never know
what we're going to be making. So.
Exactly. Okay,
These aren't pretty, but
that's okay.
As long as I don't cut my hand, I'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be key. No injuries today. Although we do have a great ER.
Yeah.
Right across the
very
street.
convenient location.
Now, I'm going to dump this in here as you're doing that. Okay. Thank you. June has transferred over into my sous chef today. So
Yes.
I appreciate that, June.
I'm trying.
And we're gonna chop up this whole head of lettuce. And you also can mix and match lettuces too. It doesn't just have to be one type or the other.
Because I've heard like
Whatever you
iceberg
like to do.
lettuce has like no nutritional value. So like I just went to the store over the weekend and I got a spring mix.
Yes.
And then I got a bag of spinach.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna mix those up and then maybe put a little bit of iceberg. So you can do something like that.
You can,
Okay.
and the darker the leaf on the lettuce, the more nutrition you're gonna get. So you're gonna get lots of magnesium and lots of good compounds. But in the same token, if you happen to be on one second. If you happen to be under medical care from a doctor and you have to watch your medication levels like Coumadin with vitamin K, then you kind of have to watch the dark green leafy vegetables. But just for the general population, it's wonderful. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of turn this chicken. We're gonna get all sides of it done here. I'm gonna actually turn it up a little bit. There we go. All right, we'll continue on with lettuce chopping.
So we get this question a lot here at Premier Fitness about how many times a day should you be eating? There's so many different, some people say 6, 3 meals and then 3 snacks, and some people do that intermittent fasting,
Yes.
and there's just all kinds of information out there. So what's your professional advice for that?
So, great question, by the way, but what I see most is that people who hardly eat, the ones who eat maybe 1 to 2 times a day, they do have a hard time when they come to see me to lose weight.
Okay.
The reason being is your metabolism gets slower, and your metabolism actually prefers to be stimulated a minimum of 3 times a day.
Okay.
So you at least want to eat a minimum of 3 times per day. Now, we find that weight loss efforts, they actually improve the more frequently. Oh, thank you. Take over cutting while I do this. The more frequently that you're eating, so 4, 5, 6 times a day, and you don't have to do 4 meals. You can just do 3 meals and a snack. Now, the other thing with metabolism that a lot of people don't realize is metabolism goes according to the concept of circadian rhythm. If you've heard of that before.
I've heard of it, but I'm not quite sure exactly what it is.
So our bodies are kind of in tune with when the sun rises and when the sun sets.
Okay.
So the metabolism is actually, the metabolism is highest in the morning time when you first wake up. And then it slows down throughout the day. So if you're eating most of your calories late into the evening, you're going to be eating them when your metabolism is the slowest. So they actually do it very well over in Europe. They actually eat their big meal middle of the day. And then they all take a nap. And then
that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm eating at night.
And then they eat their light meal at night. So we do find that even though we didn't used to think that, a lot of the research is really pointing to that. So thank you. Okay. So, see, this chicken is getting nice and white now, and it smells really good. Too bad we can't smell it through the TV, but we can attest to that. It's going to be delicious. Can't wait to taste all of this. Okay.
Well, I kind of made kind of a mess.
Oh, that's okay. That's what kitchens are for.
Ready to be sliced.
Okay, so cucumber time. All right. So we're going to just move this over. Okay. Now the cucumbers we want to do just a little dice on them. We don't want to make them huge, so we're just going to dice them up here. And if you want to take over and keep an eye on that chicken.
I will do that.
Oh, thank you so much. We don't want to burn the chicken. And we're looking for kind of a nice, kind of golden brown. Okay.
And we talked about how many times a day we should eat. We kind of talked about the time of day, covered that a little bit. But,
yes.
So is there a specific time, like don't eat after 7 or don't eat, like how does that work?
Yes. So as the day kind of approaches darkness, you don't want to really be eating many calories late into the evening. And the reason being is that full circadian rhythm concept. So what I'd recommend is try to eat, I mean, it varies so much in the winter time because it gets dark sometimes at 5:30, you know?
Yeah, I know.
You don't want to really be eating at 5.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say maybe by 6 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
And if you're doing snacks, you probably want to do those middle of the way through, like maybe every couple of hours you should be eating something, or 2 to 3 hours. And that's also very helpful with people who struggle with keeping their blood sugars up. So anyone who's, working with any type of low blood sugar issue, we find if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, and you're eating the right kinds of food, like the healthy foods, kind of like what we're making today, with whole grains and some protein, that can actually keep your blood sugars in check and in the levels that you need them to be in.
What about types of foods you shouldn't eat? Like, are there certain foods you shouldn't eat right before you go to bed because it'll keep you up?
Yeah.
So, are there any foods you should stay away from?
Well, definitely. What we see is that people who are eating really kind of high calorie, high sugar, high fat foods, high caffeine foods.
Yeah.
Those are going to kind of keep you up and keep your GI tract, your intestinal tract, and your stomach and everything kind of awake longer. Yeah, because it kind of keeps everything going. So what we recommend is, something light before bed. Even if you wanted to do, say you like sandwiches, maybe like half a sandwich, or some people like to do maybe some fruit, cottage cheese, something just a little light. Cheese and crackers is always good, and you don't have to do the high-fat cheese. You could do like a 2% milk cheese or a part skim cheese. Get some whole grain crackers maybe. And they have so many options now that you don't just have to do high-fat items any longer. And plus, too, yogurt is a common item now that intestinal tract and the stomach.
What kind of yogurt is there? Again, there's Greek yogurt, there's regular yogurt, there's fruit yogurt. I mean, there's so many.
So many. There's a whole aisle.
What is the best? What's the most healthy type of yogurt you should eat?
So the healthiest yogurt would be the one that doesn't have all of the fat in it, although the high-fat yogurts do taste delicious. You do need kind of a custard yogurt just for a treat.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a dietitian, yes, I do indulge in things like that. But, at least Premier Fitness is right over here, so I can always
work out your yogurt.
Yeah, that's right. So, but you want something low fat, and you want something that's going to be low sugar also, because with yogurt, sometimes they're adding lots and lots of sugar to it, lots of fat, because they're using whole milk in some cases. So you want to read those labels and make sure that you're getting a nice healthy product. And the difference between Greek yogurt and regular yogurt is the Greek yogurt is kind of like a sour cream consistency, very thick. Yeah. And the processing of the Greek yogurt is lower in sugar just by the way it's processed. So it's just kind of a it's more so a preference of what you like, and a thickness preference, that sort of thing. Okay. Alright, so that's about the way that you want your cucumbers to be, a small dice on that. Then you want to add your chopped tomatoes, which we have here, and we're going to put these in here. Okay, and move this over here. Okay. Then, oh, sure.
Salad.
Now, what we have here, a lot of people might not be used to. These are chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and these are a great source of fiber. We got the no salt added ones just to make sure that we weren't adding extra sodium in. So great source of fiber, and you at least want to have 25 to 35 grams of fiber on a daily basis. So when you're looking at labels, it'll say dietary fiber on it. You want to take a look at that. So we're going to just add these in here. Okay. And one little one did not want to go in, so we're going to push him in. Put this back here. Then we want to add our onion. So this is a nice red onion, half a cup of red onion.
So it looks like a little bit more than a half a cup.
It may,
but that's okay.
That's okay. The more red onion, the better. And you always have breath mints, so you don't even need to worry about that. Okay, then I'm going to just mix this up a little bit just before I put the feta cheese in. And we did get a fat-free feta cheese. You do have to watch on your cheeses because if they're made with whole milk, they're going to have a lot of fat and a lot of calories in them. So lots of choices on there with the cheeses now. And fat-free actually works really well with this salad because the dressing is so flavorful, you don't even miss the fat. Okay, so we're tossing this up nicely.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, it's so colorful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. All right, so now what we're going to do is add the cheeses. So we've got our fat-free feta cheese here. Add that in. Okay. Then we're going to add the Parmesan cheese. And this is a shredded Parmesan. Don't put the grated Parmesan in this for spaghetti. So just use the shredded. And that's also another nice low-fat choice.
This is chicken looking. Should I turn it off?
Actually, yeah, that looks
It'll still cook.
It will, yeah. And it'll just cook through any of the bigger pieces, although I try to keep it.
Oops, I'm trying to know what's off.
Oh, it is, there we go, right there. Okay, so I'm just going to toss this a little more, and you want to, depending on the size of the bowl you have, you want to just do kind of like a gentle toss, otherwise you're going to be wearing the salad and have it everywhere.
That's why we have aprons.
That's right. So, kind of gently tossing this in, kind of folding it. And then we're going to make our dressing, which is super easy to make.
Do you want a bowl, a separate bowl to make the dressing?
Yeah, let's do that. And
wait, you have a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll use a little whisk too.
Let me. Oh, I really hope we have a whisk.
If
well,
not,
I'm gonna look.
If not, we'll use a fork. Yeah.
Yeah, we may have to use a fork. Okay, we're gonna add a whisk to our shopping list.
Oh, okay.
So here's this.
Thank you. Yeah, my family's Italian, and so my grandmother taught me how to cook when I was 6, and we didn't even have a whisk, back in those days.
Right.
So we just used a fork. Okay.
So do you put the dressing? Do you mix the dressing and put it on the whole salad, or do you just use it for?
Now I mix it and I put it all over the whole salad, but you may prefer at home just to keep it separate. If you aren't going to be eating all the salad at once. But in my house, when I make this, we kind of eat it all. So.
Yeah. Right.
But if you don't want it to get soggy or anything like that, you're not going to eat it right away. Okay. So So dressing. Now what we're going to do is take 2 tablespoons of the virgin olive oil. It is right here.
Measured that already.
It's all pre-measured. Thank you, everyone. Okay, there's that. Then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of. Did you do the red wine vinegar?
Yeah, we
you
did
could
the
do red wine or cider vinegar, whichever you prefer. Or you could mix it up if you want to do rice wine vinegar. You know, this is however you want to do this. Then you're gonna have a half a teaspoon of.
That's some lettuce and the
Oh.
garlic powder.
There's a little piece of lettuce in the
It's
garlic
all
powder.
It's all good.
Okay. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, so we'll measure that out. Okay. There's that. And then we're gonna do a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. And then we're just going to mix this up nicely in here. And you want to make sure that all of it's mixed in because you want to get all of the good seasonings in there. You want the oil to mix nicely with the vinegar so it's not all separated.
I guess if it's not enough, you could add some more in.
You could, yeah. And
you get it in your bowl.
yeah, you know, as you look at your salad, if you like a little more dressing, and we're all kind of different.
I always get extra dressing.
Do you?
That's the problem.
So do most of my patients. It's okay. And I'm actually going to move this over here.
You don't need to use
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Right?
Get all that in here. Okay. So we're going to just dump the dressing in here. Then we're going to toss it.
And this you want to eat right away, or do you want to set it? Do you want to like have it set for a while to
Yeah, I
absorb all the
recommend
flavors?
I recommend letting it sit for I'd say a minimum of like 10-15 minutes,
Okay.
just to let everything soak into all of the pieces of lettuce and everything we got in this salad. But yeah, this is really a nice.
It smells good. And
Yeah, it's it's a nice healthy salad. Okay, and then we've talked a lot in diet education with patients at the hospital about the Mediterranean diet, and this will fit right in. Lots of good vegetables and legumes and all of that good stuff. Olive oil.
So speaking of diets,
Yes.
you mentioned, I know there's a few, Mediterranean, like low fat.
Yeah, low fat.
what's the other?
There's
There's
low cholesterol, low
Yeah.
fat. There's heart healthy. The heart healthy
right.
encompasses all of that plus low sodium. I'd say I also teach cardiac rehab at the hospital as well, and we talk about that heart healthy diet quite a bit, and the Mediterranean diet. Now there are a lot of fad diets out there too, so you do want to be careful because some of them really do need medical monitoring. So I wouldn't advise just looking at the internet and just picking one. Just make sure you're running everything by your doctor and dietitian too, if you'd like to include us. We can help you as well.
What we found here,
So
when we
that's
talk
how
to people, beautiful, is, and I'm sure you'll agree, just healthy eating for the rest of your life. Like, you can't, if you go on a diet, you could lose the weight, but then you're depriving yourself, and then you're going to end up gaining more weight, and it's like a vicious cycle that you get into. So if you just learn how to change your lifestyle, eating right, exercising,
coming to the gym,
and then
or doing it at home.
it's much easier to maintain.
I agree 100%, and we've seen that over and over again. And I have found in my career that the best success comes from patients or clients in general who will do healthy eating plus
Yeah.
exercise. So we find that if you combine both of them, you stand a much better chance of keeping all that weight off.
We have a program here called the Results Weight Management Program. So we still do that. It's a 12-week program. And we have not dietitians running it, but we have, certified health coaches, and they'll talk about healthy eating. So when you do that program, it's 12 weeks. You get to meet with one of the health coaches once a week, and then you have personal training twice a week. So that is great because like I said, we don't advocate fad diets or pills or anything like that. They work with you for the 12 weeks. You get the exercise and you get to eat healthy. And then hopefully by that 12 weeks, then you've maintained it. It's become a habit.
Yes.
Because it takes, how many weeks do you think to change a habit?
12.
Okay, there we go. Perfect.
12,
So
exactly.
we picked the right amount of weeks for the program. But yeah, so if anyone's interested in that program, please give us a call at Premier. We can get you hooked up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the salad
Is
done. Beautiful.
So we are going to
Move
move
this
the
out of your
salad right over here. And then what we're going to do is...
this
Okay.
And we
The
will
lettuce had a mind of its own today.
Yes. get this cleaned up, and then we can.
Then we're going to prepare our wraps, actually. So, oh, thank you. All right, so we are going to take the chicken that has already been prepared right here, and we're going to mix the balsamic vinaigrette in there. We're going to toss it. Oh, thank you. And do you happen to have another spoon I could use?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
What about this?
Now, balsamic vinaigrette. We did a low-fat version. If you wanted to do a full-fat version, you could. But I find that any marinades, if you can go fat-free or reduced fat, you're really ahead of the game there, because you're still going to get the flavors and you won't have to worry about the calories and the extra fat. Okay, so we are just going to toss this beautiful chicken up in here and let the flavors marinate. Now, since we're live, we are going to not let this marinate as long as you could at home, but you theoretically could make this and let it marinate a good 30 minutes or so, and just marinate those flavors. And you don't have to serve it warm. You can put it in the refrigerator if you'd like to marinate it a little longer, because anytime you are cooking, you're cooking anything, leftovers, any of that should be put in the refrigerator no longer than 2 hours after it's been out, because bacteria just multiply exponentially after that time period. Okay, so this is all tossed. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the wraps here and we'll demonstrate. Actually, June, if you'd like to make a wrap, and I'll make a wrap.
Okay. Yours is probably going to look a lot better than mine.
No, I think yours is going to look just great. All right. So after, say, 30 minutes or so, we've marinated all of this. So what you want to do, I'm going to move this over here so you can see at home here. You want to kind of put this in the middle because we're going to be rolling it up kind of burrito style, actually. And these are whole grain wraps, again, very healthy for you. The difference between whole grain and refined grains, a lot of people ask me this question, what does that mean actually? So the whole grains, and I'm going to move the chicken here. Whole grains, they have the whole grain intact. They don't have any parts of it removed, whereas refined grains only have the endosperm left, because there's 3 parts to the grain. So you've got your germ, you have your bran, and your endosperm. So this whole grain has everything intact, wonderful for you, great with antioxidant properties. Oh, see, nice job. Looking great.
All right.
Okay, so the next thing we want to add is our blueberries. So you want to take a little bit of blueberries, add those into our wrap. And you don't want to do too many of things in here, otherwise you're going to have a giant wrap that you're not going to be able to fold. So you can always make more wraps. So just add some blueberries in. Then we're going to add a little feta cheese. And we got the fat-free again on this. Okay, there you go. And then we have some freshly cut basil. Now, for those of you who look forward to a garden every spring, I know I do. I always have basil in here. I think it's part of my Italian heritage, but you gotta have basil in the garden, especially when you're making sauce every Sunday like I do.
I was thinking of having a little herb garden, but not like outside, maybe like in my sunroom. Just have it, because I live in the country and I'm afraid the critters will come in.
Oh yes, so. We did have to actually put a fence up for the deer, because one year I had 16 tomato plants in my garden. They ate all of them. All of them. All down to the bottom. I had this little stubs left.
Nice.
All right. So
this is the part that I'm not good at.
This is the tough part. So you want to fold the bottom up a little bit.
Because I'm one of the ones who stuff too high.
I just about made mine too full. Then I'm going to move this over so you can see it home. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the side and we're going to just roll it. Okay. Tuck this little corner in.
Okay.
And then roll. And we'll try to roll tight. So you don't rip it. Tight. Roll tight and then keep this little part.
This is going to be the one I'm eating.
There we go. Okay. And it's supposed to look just like this. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Put some salad on the plate.
Yes, and let's do a little salad.
We'll have a little taste test.
Great. Beautiful. It does look really nice. It really does.
Okay. Oh, I guess we should get some forks.
Oh yes. Let's do some forks, and then if you. Oh, perfect. Oh, thank you so much.
So here we go.
Okay.
Are you gonna start with the salad? Start with the salad.
Yeah, let's do the salad first.
Get one of those chickpeas in there.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
Delicious.
It's really good with the feta cheese and the onions. Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And healthy.
Very healthy. And not a lot of, if you kind of look at the plate, not a lot of dressing all over the place.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a restaurant and it's all drenched. So
I know, I was worried. Like I said, I always ask for dressing on the side. But
that's a good way to do
this
it.
Actually, but I drench it. But that's okay. That's another day. But I did not think that would be enough dressing for all of that, but it is.
And it's probably it's just such a good combination of ingredients that it just penetrates the leaves really nicely. Yeah. Like I'm getting all the flavors with the garlic powder, the pepper.
Yeah, it's good.
Vinegar. Oh, it's great.
All right, we gotta taste this. I'm gonna get a piece with the blueberry in it.
Oh,
my blueberry fell.
Yeah, there's your blueberry.
Great.
All right.
These aren't the most elegant things.
So you can see, you want kind of everything kind of mixed together in there. All right, ready? Cheers.
That is good.
I know.
I'm surprised because I was worried about the blueberry. It is good.
Everyone thinks that. And when my patients try this recipe, they say the same thing. They kind of look at me like, I don't know about these blueberries.
I think you're right. Like with the sauce in there.
Yeah.
It
with
just
the balsamic.
Yeah. It just.
Oh, it's delicious in the feta cheese.
Delicious.
Excellent. All right.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for doing our wellness kitchen. This was great. If you have any questions for Maureen, you can put that in the notes in Facebook. We'll get those to her. If you have any questions about Premier or that results weight management program that we talked about, be sure to put that in the notes as well. But again, thank you, Maureen, for coming, and thank you everyone for watching.